my very first challenge to you is about activating change. And the challenges that we have to identify our own comfort zones and patterns of resistance, as well as those in the individuals and organizations that we are trying to influence and lead. Let me describe this pattern, or rather this journey. What we say is that all journeys towards success over time, whether it be us personally as individuals or in organizations or even the profession as a whole, takes this pattern. We have all made meteoric success and progress, regardless of the single criterion that you measure progress on. Could be money, could be status, could be office size, what have you. But we've all made meteoric progress doing this. What we're good at and or what we like. Call it playing to your strengths, finding your niche. And we might make that rate of progress for our entire careers. Continuously progressing on whatever criterion you choose as being progress, merely focusing on what you're good at and or what you like. And if that's you, well, I kind of hate your guts, because for most of us, this pattern is more familiar. What we're good at and what we like gets us just so far, but no further. Call it a plateau, a glass ceiling, career stagnation, organizational stall, as you wish. When I was at Dell, my good at and or like was contract drafting, and I wanted to become vice president. Make me vice president. No. Make me vice president. No. And what do you do when you face that kind of stall, plateau, ceiling? Typically, we double down on the very things that got us there. It's perfectly instinctive. My contract drafting got me this job and got me promotion, and so when I hit a stall, I'm just going to do more contracts. I never got promoted, by the way. And typically, it's the same result. And even if you look at the legal profession since 2008, the legal profession as a whole has been growing at 2-3% year on year in terms of revenue. So some firms have been gangbusters, some firms have gone bust, but overall the pattern is flat. Now, a couple of points about that plateau, as it were. You could go your entire career on that plateau. It's not to say that that in of itself is a problem or a challenge. That could be a platinum plated plateau for all we know. It could be a diamond encrusted plateau. I have a friend who's a famous singer, a songwriter, or indeed was a famous singer and songwriter. Hasn't written or sung for years because he's perfectly happy coining in the royalties and doing some organic gardening or what have you. And why would anybody criticize that? Very happy in her own role. Now, many of us might challenge that plateau, but it's not in of itself a fault. Just to highlight, if it is, however, a challenge for you, for your organization, for your department, for your company, well then, listen, the principle that Einstein outlines must hold true. We cannot solve the problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. And therefore, if moving beyond an obstacle, a plateau, a stall, stagnation, ceiling as you wish, is a problem and a challenge, then inevitably, by a brutal process of reduction, everything else we're going to focus on is that. Because you've already done what you're good at and what you like, and it's got you this far, and that's great. So is your organization, so is your company, and indeed so is your profession. And now to move beyond a plateau, if it's a challenge or a problem, then our inevitable focus, and certainly the focus of the Purana, will be on what you're no good at and what you don't like. Be it yourself personally, your peers, your colleagues, your teams, your company, your organization. You probably already know the things that you're not good at and or you don't like, because these are invariably the tasks that you always run out of time to do despite your best intentions, or those that you subconsciously just don't regard as being part of your job. You know the ones. But organizations also have the same collective lethargy. And so being able to identify and address this inertia resistance is key to activating change around you. And this invariably involves a flexibility, a capacity for growth beyond one's cherished skill set. And at its highest level, the ability to successfully and comfortably operate in both spheres of human performance, left and right brain, is the greatest challenge in becoming that smarter lawyer. Those of you who go by gut instinct, intuition and experience would also benefit from a mastery of metrics and a data-driven decision-making process. And those of you who primarily rely on rules, process and logic will also require a fine command of the random human vicissitudes of those you're trying to help. If you don't already know which side is your strength, here are a few ways of asking. Which do you remember more easily, faces or names? Can you guess what time it is within 10 minutes accuracy without looking at a clock or a watch? Do you read the instruction manual or figure out and see what happens? Which do you notice more first in a song, the music or the lyrics? Is your desk area neat and logically arranged, or ad hoc and spontaneous? What do you appreciate more in a movie, the plot or the performances? And do you rearrange your furniture periodically or leave it where you first decided? You can presumably tell the side that each of these questions fall on. And the reason I highlight the areas that you don't like, are no good at, or are on the opposite mental side of where you function best is because that's where I'm going to focus our attention. Because you're already doing what you're good at, remember? And so the piranha is inevitably going to chase you about the disciplines that you or your organization haven't applied yet, or have done so half-heartedly while still facing the challenges that you do.